Welcome to Chasing a Murder Talking News, and we're doing a talking news segment right now. East Idaho News shared this probably, well, it's the first one I see, but we know that Nate Eaton's been on this pretty well. Before we get started, would you guys please take a moment to like and subscribe, help, the channel out if you like what I cover in the stories I put out. You can also hit the notification bell to get notifications whenever we do have new videos come up. So I want to tell everybody hello, how are you guys doing? I've really been in such a hurry, to be honest with you. This past year has been crazy, and all these cases, having all this new information come out on top of already being busy and dealing with so much, it's been difficult to keep up. So, and I know you guys have been very excited to find out about this new information, and so today they come out with something on Chad Daybell. And it was a phone call he made to a funeral home, helping make arrangements for, can you guess? Charles Vallow, his mistress, Lori Vallow's husband, who was shot by Lori Vallow's brother, claiming it was in self-defense. We've seen the tapes come out. Before those tapes come out, many of us have been very suspicious as to whether that was truly a self-defense act. And it most likely was not a self-defense act. This was straight up slaying. So I'm going to do I'm going to watch this with you guys and off my memory, try my best anyways, to kind of go over a few things that he says in this video. It's not super interesting, but what you get from it is interesting.
My name is with their calls. How can I help you today?
We just had a death in the family, and we really don't want anything but a cremation, and then to send the cremains to a family in Louisiana.
So Chad is calling to inquire about cremation for what he says is a family member to him. So Lori Vallow, her husband's dead, and her lover is now calling the funeral home to get information. So I would love to know, why is it that Chad Daybell is calling? Well, if you're not familiar with the story, Chad Daybell did work as a sexton. So he worked as a gravedigger, but it doesn't look like he knew much about it, because he really had no idea about the process or even the cost, really. So pay attention, and here we go.
It's just a simple, nothing other than a cremation and sending him to the family for service in Louisiana. So is there any way to know a ballpark price on that?
Yes, and I'm sorry for your loss.
So he's looking in for a price to cremate Charles and have his remains sent back to Louisiana, where Charles' sister lives, Kay Woodcock, and you'll hear her name in this case quite often. So around this time, Kay has heard the story that Charles had mentioned that he thought that he would be taken out, that Lori was a translated being and possibly even a priestess goddess. This call was made on the day that Charles was slain, around 8 p.m. So he wasn't even cold yet. And you have to remember, there were texts to Lori soon after this asking what the plans were once they found out what happened to Charles. So we'll talk about that in a little while.
Thank you.
Okay, let me transfer you over to the director who can assist you with the pricing. What is your name, please?
It is Chad Daybell.
How do you spell the last name, please?
Daybell. Daybell.
How are you related to the person who passed?
I'm his nephew.
And then also, this is for the balance.
So Chad spells his name oddly, and not only that, he mentions that he is a nephew to this guy. Not only that, guys, he's not even prepared to even handle this. You really don't know where Charles is at. He doesn't know anything. So it's not, I wonder, did Charles offer to help Lori figure things out and she act like, I don't know how to do this? Or did Lori Vallow ask her lover to help her? So he mentions that they wanted help, so maybe she asked. We will continue on.
Yes, what is your uncle's name for reference, please?
He is John Dayball.
Your last name?
Well, C-A-D-A-L.
And
The same. John.
do you have a middle name?
Myron.
M-Y-R-O-N?
Yeah.
And Chad, what is your phone number in case we get disconnected?
This number 515. I don't actually know my own. Something like real quick.
Thank you.
So you'll notice that Chad has no trouble lying, it seemed. He didn't stutter much or anything. Then he tells him that he passed away in a hospital.
Thank you. Is he at a nursing home, hospital, or residence?
He passed away in a hospital. I don't know the details. I'm just telling you.
Yes, just for, to know, because sometimes it's different if it's a residential or hospital or a nursing home.
I'm thinking they're sending him to the medical examiner. I'm not sure.
These people have balls, guys. Anyways, he tells her that he's passed away in a hospital, which is not true. And he says, I think he's at a medical examiner's. That is definitely a red flag in a lot of cases. It's just very interesting to me how he can bald-faced lie. I bet you this is going to be interesting for his children. In fact, most of these tapes and audio coming out right now are going to be very interesting for the Daybell children.
I should have had more information before I called.
Oh, that's okay. Alright, cremation with shipping. To which city?
New Orleans.
Okay, one moment please, Chad, but stay on the line. Let me transfer you over to the director who can assist you with that.
Alright.
Thank you. Hello, Chad?
Yeah.
Thank you for holding. I do have the director, Clarissa, to further assist you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, my director was calling for Sun Marine Cemetery. I understand that your uncle passed away.
Yes. And I'm just starting the process for the family. He didn't have many relatives. I'm his nephew. I live in Iowa. But what they want to do.
That's an interesting comment that he doesn't have many relatives to really help take care of this or around, because during this period of time, Charles' children are trying to contact their father and they cannot get a hold of him. In fact, I'm going to share what his son had to say about this. So he said, I was texting him and I remember calling him a couple of times that morning that he had gotten shot and he didn't respond. It was really weird. He usually returns calls and texts relatively fast, so something was off. So right now you have Chad posing as a family member, heading up the choosing of how Charles is going to be treated. This is just morbid as it can get. Can you imagine what the family of Charles Vallow is going through? So he has an ex-wife and he has biological children that actually care about him. Then you have Lori Vallow's children that, what we hear, hate him. Charles has people that love him. He has his brothers, he has his sister, Kay Woodcock, and all of these people are trying with everything that they have, trying to find out about Charles Vallow the next few days and even the week, and they really cannot get much information, especially legally. And here it is, Tammy's husband helping his lover plan a funeral. Okay, so the reality of this is really starting to sink in, and so it's really heartbreaking to know that the family went through this and that Charles is no longer here. So let's continue listening to the audio.
It's sad to see him go. Yeah, I think he's going to the medical examiner. I don't know all the details, but what the family basically wants is just to have him cremated there in Chandler, and then have the cremated shipped to New Orleans. And we'll bill up the service later. So just trying to get a ballpark price.
Okay, so for a cremation, we are able to do our cremation for $1,695. Now, what that's going to include is the transportation into our care, the transportation to and from our crematory, our basic professional fees, as well as our crematory fee. Now, there's going to be a couple other charges there for you. So we are going to have death certificates, which are $20 a piece, with a processing fee. $15 permit fee. And then we're able to do that transfer through the mail for you, and that's $150 fee for you.
Okay. Like UPS or something, I guess.
Okay.
So close about 2,000 probably. Kind of a ballpark,
Yeah.
I guess.
Close to that.
Okay. Well, that helps me a lot. I'm going to call one or two others, but I'll get back to you if we come that direction. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, give me a call.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Isn't that so nice of Chad to help Lori quickly cover up any evidence as fast as they can, really? So you can imagine it, he's doing this around in between 8 and 9 p.m. according to East Idaho News on the day that Charles was shot. And so the kids at this time are really trying to figure out what's going on with their dad. They're not getting any answers by text. They're starting to get worried. So guys, I'm kind of talking to people that know about this case already. If you're not familiar, go to my Life Beyond the Grave series, or at least connecting the dots. There's somewhat, enough there to help you catch up. So earlier this day, before Chad calls about cremation, neighbors are complaining about a pool party. When a few families do find out that Charles is dead, Lori tells people like Kay Woodcock he's gone, but they don't give them the cause or reason. But Kay Woodcock really didn't need a reason, because she said, quote, "We knew it was murder. We knew Charles' death wasn't justifiable," end quote. She says she knew it was a homicide, and it was like they had set him up, so an ambush like a lot of other people suspect. Earlier that day, police they were investigating it and looking into this, and a lot of people didn't realize, but they had discovered a bullet hole in the ground by Charles. How is it a self-defense when the bullet's in the ground? That means Charles had to have been lying down. But investigators know they have their hands full, because they have a lot of, they have to actually compare everything in the surroundings, the shots, everything they know, and put it together basically in a storyboard. And police are tight-lipped for quite a long while. A lot of people felt like they weren't doing it quick enough, and you can't blame them. But you could see on body cam where police were interviewing Lori, Tylee, and Alex Cox right after this happened. And a few cops seemed to kind of question what happened. Even more concerning, Adam Herbert shares some emails and text messages going back between Chad and Lori and Zulema, I think. Very, very interesting. So Adam Herbert, I always want to call him Herbert, actually shares some of this information with us. And in this, he kind of says that this was an intentional murder and that most likely this is all part of their elaborate master plan. And the message read, quote, "As I was working on Hiplos today in the temple, I was told he would be taken as is. I don't know what that means. Then I was shown to only put light, the brightest light, from the top and the bottom at the same time, meeting in the middle. So I've been doing that all day." So for those of you who don't know this story, he's talking about the ranking system of the light and dark people in this case. So it's a very strange system. So we're not exactly certain what Chad is talking about with the light meeting in the middle. Because all the research that I do on this case, you only have so much time when you have to learn every single thing about it. And one thing I haven't been able to go over, and I would love to go over, is his ranking system in detail. And you know, these guys obtain this stuff through some of their phones, through the cloud source, I think it is, waiting for more to come. So share below if you know who you think wrote the next email, which was on 7/12/2019. It says, "Oh, okay. Hiplos is gone. It was Nephi and Laban ending. I will tell you more when I see you in person or when you see Lori in person. I'm leaving for Chile on Monday for 2 weeks." So guys, I will go into these a little bit more in Life Beyond the Grave. There will be so much more detail in that. But you can see here where these people are just, they've lost their mind. And Zulema trying to play like she was caught up in this but didn't really understand what was going on. I don't know about that. I would love to believe that someone wouldn't be that dark. But unfortunately, everyone involved with this, mainly Alex Cox, Melanie Gibb, Melanie Pawlowski, and even Ian Zulema, they seen a lot that should have tipped them off that something strange was happening and that wasn't right. There was some really dark things happening, but it was within their group. After all, it wasn't Charles taking any lives, wasn't Tylee taking any lives, or JJ, or Tammy. You would have to be incredibly naive to not realize by the time Tammy is gone and the kids disappear that there were questionable things going on. So share below, guys, what you think about Chad helping Lori make preparations for her husband. I apologize, guys, I had to do this quite quickly, but it just makes me sick to my stomach. You know, you should feel better with some of this stuff coming out, knowing that it's going to help with justice, and you know they have even more than this. But it's just incredibly more difficult to understand how people can be so dark, so cruel, and so disconnected. Don't forget, guys, we have a lot of faces that still need our attention. Please don't forget to check out Jasmine Robinson's story today. Thank you very much, guys. Love you, and I'll see you soon.